The city was quiet that evening. Street lights glowed softly, casting long shadows on the sidewalks. Mr. Adrian Blake, a successful businessman known for his intelligence and sharp mind, was driving slowly toward his office. The usual hum of traffic had faded, leaving a strange silence that made him alert. Something about the night felt different, though he could not say exactly what. Adrian parked his black car near the entrance of his office building. He stepped out and adjusted his coat, glancing around. A gentle breeze carried the faint scent of rain, and the street seemed almost empty. As he walked toward the office doors, he noticed a young girl on the sidewalk. She was carrying a bucket and a mop, her uniform simple but neat. She moved quickly, focused on her work, and did not notice when she stumbled slightly on the edge of the pavement. A small piece of paper fell from her pocket. Adrian saw it flutter in the wind and land near his car tires. He paused, curiosity pulling him closer. He picked up the folded note carefully, studying it. The handwriting was neat and precise. On it were only 3 words. "Don't panic, it's a trap." Adrian's eyes widened. He read the note again, feeling a chill run down his spine. Who would write such a warning for him? Why would someone send this to him anonymously? His mind raced, thinking of every possibility. He had faced many challenges in business, but a personal threat like this was new and unsettling. The girl, noticing something missing, turned back. Her face went pale when she saw Adrian holding the paper. She hesitated for a moment, unsure if she should explain. Her name was Lily, and she was the daughter of the head maid in Adrian's mansion. Earlier that day, while helping her father clean the upper floors of the building, she had accidentally overheard 2 men talking in the parking area. They mentioned a plan involving Adrian, but she had not been able to hear the full details. She knew it sounded serious. Lily had wanted to warn someone, but she felt nervous. No one would take a young maid's daughter seriously, especially not a billionaire like Adrian. Yet her conscience would not allow her to remain silent. She wrote the note quickly on a scrap piece of paper and planned to slip it where he might find it. But now, seeing Adrian with the note, she felt both relieved and scared. Adrian held the paper firmly in his hand, his mind analyzing every angle. He could see the fear in Lily's eyes, but he also sensed her honesty. He spoke gently, not wanting to startle her. "Did you drop this?" he asked. Lily nodded slightly, clutching her mop handle. I think you should read it," she said softly. "It is very important." Adrian studied her carefully. Her small stature and nervous expression did not make her seem like a person who could influence anything. Yet the words on the note were serious. He looked back at the paper, his mind racing. There was no sign of a prank or a joke. It felt real. He decided to take the warning seriously. He looked around the empty street, noticing how quiet everything was. The lights flickered briefly and the shadows seemed longer than usual. Adrian felt the first stirrings of concern, but he also felt a growing sense of respect for the girl who had dared to warn him. Lily waited quietly, hoping he would act on the message. She did not fully understand what would happen next, but she knew she had done the right thing. Sometimes even the smallest action could change the course of events. Adrian folded the note carefully and put it in his pocket. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "You may have just saved a life." Lily blinked, startled by his words. She had never expected a simple thank you, much less to hear something so serious. She gave a small nod and quickly turned to finish her work, leaving Adrian alone with his thoughts. Standing near his car, Adrian took a deep breath. The night had suddenly changed from ordinary to something important. He did not know the details of the danger, but he knew one thing clearly. A young maid's daughter had just warned him, and he could not ignore her message. That simple note was now the key to his safety. Adrian walked slowly toward his office, careful and alert, ready to face whatever challenge awaited him. Adrian Blake reached the entrance of his office building and paused for a moment. The note in his pocket burned against his hand, a quiet reminder that something unusual was happening. The streets remained empty, and the soft hum of the city had disappeared. Adrian's mind raced as he thought about the warning. Who would set a trap for him and why? He had enemies in business, but nothing that would normally require such secrecy. He unlocked the office door carefully and stepped inside. The familiar smell of polished wood and paper greeted him, but tonight it offered little comfort. Adrian's eyes scanned every corner of the room. He noticed the subtle movement of shadows and the faint creak of the floor beneath his feet. His instincts told him that danger could be closer than he thought. Meanwhile, Lily hurried back toward her small home. She walked quickly, balancing her bucket and mop while thinking about the note. She had done what she could, but her heart raced with worry. She knew she had acted bravely, yet she could not stop thinking about the possible consequences. If the men she had overheard realized that she had warned Adrian, she could be in trouble. Her father had always told her to stay cautious, but she had followed her instincts. Back in the office, Adrian considered the possible risks. He decided to take the warning seriously and act with caution. He locked the office doors and checked all the windows. He made sure the security cameras were functioning and even quietly monitored the entrances. Every small detail mattered. Adrian realized that a simple warning could make the difference between safety and danger. He thought about the note again. 3 short words had changed his entire evening. Adrian wondered about the girl who had written it. Who was she and why had she chosen to warn him? He smiled faintly, thinking about her courage. Lily had acted without hesitation even when it was risky. It was remarkable that someone so young had the presence of mind to understand the seriousness of the situation. As Adrian worked on securing the office, he noticed the faint sound of footsteps outside. His heart skipped a beat. He moved silently to the door and peered through the small window. No one was there, only the empty hallway. Still, Adrian's senses remained alert. He knew the danger might come quietly, and he could not afford to ignore any signal. Lily reached home at last, her body tired, but her mind restless. She put away her cleaning supplies and tried to calm herself. She glanced at the note she had written earlier. Even in the safety of her small room, she felt the weight of responsibility. She had acted to protect someone she barely knew, yet the act felt necessary. Sometimes courage meant risking the unknown for the sake of others. Adrian decided to contact his security team. He gave them specific instructions to monitor the office and the surrounding area without revealing too much. He wanted to ensure that anyone attempting to harm him would be caught. Adrian felt a growing sense of determination. The warning from the note was not a coincidence, and he would not take it lightly. Hours passed slowly. Adrian sat at his desk reviewing his schedule and planning his next moves. His mind kept returning to Lily, the maid's daughter who had slipped the note. He thought about her bravery and the simple wisdom in her words. Sometimes the smallest actions could have the greatest impact. Adrian felt grateful, knowing that the warning had given him a chance to prepare. Outside, the city remained quiet under the night sky. Lights reflected softly on the wet pavement, and the wind carried faint sounds of distant traffic. Lily, lying on her bed, stared at the ceiling. She did not know what was happening at the office now, but she hoped Adrian had understood her message. She trusted that her small act of courage could make a difference. Adrian leaned back in his chair and exhaled slowly. He realized that the night had changed forever. A simple note, written by a young girl, had made him aware of a danger he had not even known existed. Suspicion was growing in his mind, but so was respect for the person who had quietly stepped forward. He knew the night was far from over, and every decision now mattered. Adrian's thoughts returned to Lily, and he resolved to learn more about the girl who had saved him. For now he would stay vigilant, trusting that preparation and careful observation would guide him through the danger ahead. The night felt heavier in Adrian Blake's office. Every sound seemed louder, every shadow deeper. He moved slowly, checking the doors and windows again. His eyes darted across the room as if the walls themselves might reveal a hidden threat. The note in his pocket burned against his chest, reminding him that danger could be very close. Suddenly, his phone vibrated. An unknown number flashed on the screen. Adrian hesitated for a moment, then answered quietly. On the other end, there was silence. Only the faint sound of footsteps could be heard. Adrian's heart raced. He held the phone tightly, trying to focus. The footsteps stopped abruptly, leaving an eerie quiet. He knew instantly that the note was not a mistake. Someone had planned this. Someone had been waiting. Meanwhile, Lily could not sleep. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind filled with worry. She had warned Adrian with the note, but she did not know what had happened after he received it. She thought about the men she had overheard earlier that day, their voices low and serious. She knew they were dangerous, even if she did not fully understand their plan. Her small action had already changed the course of the night, but she feared the consequences. Back at the office, Adrian decided to act. He quietly moved to the windows, checking the street below. Everything seemed empty, yet he could not shake the feeling that eyes were watching him. He turned and scanned the room, noticing small details that usually went unnoticed. A slightly open drawer, a chair moved slightly off its usual place. Adrian's mind connected the dots quickly. He realized that the danger might come from where he least expected. He recalled the words on the note, "Don't panic. It's a trap." Those words kept repeating in his mind, giving him both warning and guidance. Adrian knew he could not act recklessly. He had to stay calm, prepared, and ready to respond to anything. He moved to a side room where he could monitor the main office without being easily seen. Every movement was deliberate, every decision careful. Lily, meanwhile, tried to distract herself by helping her father with chores. She kept glancing at the clock, hoping Adrian had understood the warning. She thought about how small her actions might seem, but she also knew that even small courage could change everything. Her father noticed her unease and asked if something was wrong. Lily shook her head and said quietly that everything was fine. She could not reveal too much. Back in the office, Adrian noticed a slight movement near the entrance. He froze and watched carefully. Two men were moving slowly, testing the locks on the main doors. Adrian's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. He understood that panic could make him careless. He quietly reached for the phone and called the authorities, giving them clear instructions about the situation without alerting the intruders. The men paused, sensing that something was wrong. Adrian's careful preparation had made them cautious. They whispered to each other, unaware that the office was now under surveillance. Adrian stayed hidden, observing every step they took. He realized how close the danger had come, and how fortunate he was to have received Lily's warning. Without the note, he might have walked directly into their plan. Lily, miles away, could not sleep. She imagined Adrian in the office, unaware of the full danger and worried for his safety. She had acted bravely, but the night still felt long and uncertain. Her thoughts were filled with hope that he had understood her message and had taken precautions. Adrian's eyes followed the men carefully. He moved silently, avoiding detection. He remembered every detail of the note and how it had guided him to stay alert and cautious. The night had become a test of patience and intelligence. Adrian understood that vigilance could be the difference between safety and harm. Hours passed slowly. The men eventually left, frustrated by the unexpected security measures. Adrian waited a few more minutes before leaving his hiding spot, making sure the danger had truly passed. He felt a mix of relief and gratitude. Lily's note had not only warned him, but had also given him the time and clarity to respond correctly. As dawn approached, Adrian leaned back in his chair. The office was quiet, the danger gone, but the lesson remained clear. Sometimes the smallest action, a note from a young girl, could save a life. Adrian's respect for Lily grew. He realized he needed to meet her, to understand the courage behind those simple words. The night had changed, but thanks to her, he was safe. Morning light slowly filtered into Adrian Blake's office, but he hardly noticed it. The night had been long and tense, filled with the quiet threat that had lingered even after the intruders had disappeared. Adrian knew he could not let his guard down. The note he had received from Lily, the maid's daughter, had saved him, and he understood that caution was now more important than ever. He moved around the office with careful attention. Each door, each window, and each entrance was checked and double-checked. His security cameras were positioned to cover every angle, and he made sure no area was left unmonitored. Adrian felt a mix of alertness and gratitude. The girl who had slipped him the note had shown remarkable courage. A simple message, written quickly on a small piece of paper, had changed the entire course of his evening. Adrian picked up his phone and contacted his security team. He gave precise instructions, making it clear that no detail was too small. The team would monitor the office and surrounding areas for any unusual activity. Adrian knew that careful planning was essential. Panic could make people careless, but preparedness brought clarity and strength. Meanwhile, Lily was at home, helping her father with morning chores. She tried to focus on sweeping the floors and tidying up the rooms, but her mind kept returning to Adrian and the note she had written. She hoped he had understood her warning and taken the necessary precautions. She felt a small sense of pride, knowing she had done what was right, yet worry lingered. The night had been dangerous, and she could not shake the thought that it could happen again. Adrian, seated at his desk, reviewed his schedule for the day. He thought carefully about each meeting, each appointment, and each decision. He realized that even small actions now could make a big difference. The warning had taught him an important lesson. Vigilance and caution were as powerful as strength and resources. He also thought about Lily. Who was this brave young girl who had acted without hesitation? Adrian could see her courage clearly, even without knowing her fully. Her quick thinking had protected him, and he felt a strong desire to meet her properly and thank her. For now, though, his priority was security. He could not afford to be distracted. Adrian's mind returned to the men who had attempted the intrusion. He considered every possibility. How had they planned the trap? Where had they come from? He made mental notes of the areas that needed extra attention and adjusted his security measures accordingly. He stayed calm, knowing that careful observation was the key to safety. As the day progressed, Adrian made small adjustments throughout the office. Furniture was slightly rearranged to eliminate blind spots. Sensitive documents were moved to secure locations. He checked alarms and reinforced locks. Each step was deliberate, showing that he had learned from the warning. A single note had reminded him that preparation could save a life. Lily, after finishing her chores, sat by the window, watching the city below. She thought about Adrian and hoped he was safe. She did not fully understand the danger he had faced, but she knew her action had mattered. Even a small warning could create a big difference. She smiled softly, feeling the quiet satisfaction of having done something important. Adrian, meanwhile, paused to drink a cup of coffee. The night's tension still lingered, but he felt more confident. He had acted carefully and the office was secure. The note had guided him, not just as a warning, but as a reminder to stay alert and use his intelligence. Every decision now was influenced by that single act of courage. By the end of the day, Adrian felt a growing sense of control. The danger had not disappeared entirely, but preparation and vigilance gave him strength. He knew he would meet Lily soon, to thank her properly and to recognize the bravery that had saved him. For now, he remained alert, cautious, and deeply aware that even the smallest acts could have the greatest impact. The evening fell quietly over the city, but Adrian Blake did not feel calm. His office, though secure, seemed filled with an invisible tension. The warning from Lily, the maid's daughter, had kept him alert, but he knew that danger could return at any moment. Every sound, every shadow made him pause and observe carefully. Adrian moved slowly through the office, checking the doors and windows once more. The black suits of his security team stood silently nearby, their eyes scanning every corner. Adrian had never felt more aware of the details around him. Each step was deliberate, each decision cautious. He remembered Lily's note. "Don't panic, it's a trap." The words were simple yet powerful, guiding his every move. Suddenly he noticed a faint shadow near the main entrance. Two men moving quietly were attempting to enter the office. Adrian's heart raced, but he remained calm. Panic would not help him. He signaled to his security team, and they moved silently into position. The intruders did not notice the cameras or the hidden alarms. Adrian had prepared for this, and now his preparation would make all the difference. The men whispered to each other, trying to force the lock. Adrian observed their movements carefully, staying out of sight. He understood immediately that they had expected the office to be unguarded. Lily's warning had allowed him to act in advance, to secure every entrance and to be ready for exactly this moment. Without her note, he might have walked directly into their plan. The security team stepped quietly into the hallway, blocking the intruder's path. The men hesitated, sensing that something was wrong. Adrian remained calm, keeping his eyes on every detail. He could see the frustration and confusion in their faces. They had come expecting an easy opportunity, but Adrian's careful preparation had changed everything. One of the men tried to move toward the side entrance, but the security team was already there. The men realized that the office was prepared and their plan had failed. They exchanged hurried whispers and then retreated, disappearing into the dark streets outside. Adrian waited silently, making sure they were gone before relaxing even slightly. His heart still pounded, but he felt a growing sense of relief. The danger had been real, and Lily's warning had saved him. Her simple act of courage had allowed him to respond correctly and avoid harm. Adrian's mind raced as he thought about her bravery. She had acted without hesitation, knowing that her words might change the outcome of the night. Meanwhile, Lily was at home, unaware of the close call she had helped prevent. She was preparing a simple meal for her father, her hands busy but her mind thoughtful. She hoped Adrian had received the note and understood its meaning. She could not have imagined the danger was so near, but she trusted that her warning had mattered. Adrian moved through the office one more time, checking each door, each corner, and each window. Everything was secure, yet he remained vigilant. He realized that even small details could become important in moments of danger. Lily's note had reminded him that awareness and caution were essential. It had been a lesson in courage, intelligence, and preparation. As the night grew deeper, Adrian finally allowed himself to breathe more easily. The intruders were gone, the office was safe, and he was unharmed. He held the note in his hand for a moment, thinking about the young girl who had risked her small act to warn him. Her courage had made all the difference, turning a potential disaster into a close call he could survive. Adrian knew that he would never forget this night. A simple note, a quiet warning, and a young girl's courage had protected him. He resolved to meet Lily soon, to thank her properly and to recognize the bravery that had saved his life. He understood now that sometimes the smallest actions could have the greatest impact. As he finally settled into his chair, Adrian felt a mix of gratitude and determination. The night had tested him, but thanks to a small act of courage he had passed. The experience would stay with him, a reminder that vigilance, careful action, and the bravery of others could change everything. The morning sun streamed gently through the windows of the mansion, casting a warm glow on the polished floors. Adrian Blake had returned home after the long night, his mind still replaying the events that had unfolded. He thought about the close call at the office and how Lily's small note had guided him to stay alert. Now he wanted to meet the young girl properly and thank her in person. Adrian made his way to the staff quarters. He had asked for Lily, explaining only that he wished to speak to her. When she appeared carrying a small basket of laundry, her eyes widened in surprise. She had not expected to see him so soon, and her heart skipped a beat. "Lily," Adrian began, his voice calm but serious. "I wanted to thank you for the note you left for me. It saved my life." Lily blinked, her hands trembling slightly. She had always known the note was important, but hearing that it had actually saved him filled her with a mix of pride and nervousness. I just wanted to help," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Adrian smiled gently. "You did much more than help. You showed courage and quick thinking. Most people would not have acted the way you did, even if they had noticed the danger." Lily felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had never been praised like this before. Her father, who was nearby, watched quietly, pride shining in his eyes. He had always known his daughter was brave, but seeing Adrian, a man of great wealth and influence, recognize it made him even prouder. Adrian gestured toward a small sitting area. "Please sit with me for a while. I want to hear more about you." Lily hesitated, then nodded, setting down the basket. She took a seat, still feeling nervous but curious about what Adrian would say. Adrian leaned forward, his eyes kind. "I want you to know that your actions mattered. You were brave, thoughtful, and careful. That combination saved me from a very real danger. You have a gift, Lily, and I hope you never forget it." Lily felt her eyes widen. A billionaire noticing her courage seemed impossible. Yet here he was, speaking to her with genuine respect. I just wanted to do what was right," she said quietly. Adrian nodded. "And that is exactly what you did. You trusted your instincts and acted without hesitation. That is something very rare, Lily. I respect that more than you can imagine." Her father stepped closer, his expression a mix of pride and caution. He had always taught Lily to be careful, but he had never imagined that her small act could have such an impact. Adrian noticed his presence and spoke to him as well. "Your daughter is remarkable. You have raised her well. Her courage and honesty are inspiring." Lily looked down at her hands, feeling shy but happy. She had only wanted to warn Adrian, not expecting any recognition or thanks, yet his words felt sincere, and they gave her a confidence she had never felt before. Adrian continued, "I hope you understand something important. Lily, courage does not always mean facing the largest danger. Sometimes it is about the small choices we make, the ones that keep others safe. That note of yours was courage in action. You made a difference." Lily smiled faintly, feeling a sense of pride she could not put into words. She realized that even a simple act, done with care and honesty, could change the course of events. She had never imagined that her actions would have such an effect. Adrian stood and extended his hand. "Thank you again, Lily. You have earned my respect and my gratitude. I hope we can continue to work together in some way. You have a bright future ahead of you, and I would like to help you reach it." Lily hesitated, then shook his hand firmly. The warmth in her chest grew. She felt recognized, valued, and inspired. As Adrian left, he glanced back at Lily. The mansion felt quieter, yet the impact of her actions lingered. He understood now that heroes could come in many forms. Sometimes the smallest voices, the quietest acts of courage, had the power to change lives. Lily watched him leave and felt a new determination rising inside her. She had acted bravely once, and she knew she could do so again. The acknowledgement from Adrian had given her strength. She realized that her actions mattered, and that even a young maid's daughter could make a difference in the world. Days passed since the night Adrian Blake had been warned by Lily, the maid's daughter. The memory of the note, simple but powerful, lingered in his mind. He could not stop thinking about the girl who had acted so bravely. Her courage, honesty, and quick thinking had saved his life, and now he wanted to know more about her. One morning, Adrian asked Lily to meet him in the mansion garden. The sun shone brightly, casting golden light across the neatly trimmed hedges and colorful flowers. Birds chirped softly, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming roses. Lily felt nervous as she stepped into the garden. She had never been invited to meet a billionaire like this before, and she did not know what to expect. Adrian smiled warmly as she approached. "Lily, thank you for coming," he said kindly. "I wanted to spend some time with you and learn more about the person who showed such courage." Lily lowered her gaze shyly but nodded. I just did what I thought was right," she said softly. Adrian gestured to a bench near a fountain. "Please sit with me. I want to hear your story, how you help your family, what you dream about, and how you think about the world." They sat together, the water in the fountain sparkling in the sunlight. Lily told Adrian about her daily life, helping her father with chores and supporting her family. She spoke quietly, but Adrian listened carefully, paying attention to every word. He could see her intelligence and thoughtfulness shining through. "You have a remarkable mind, Lily," Adrian said gently, "and you are kind, brave, and honest. These qualities are rare. You acted without hesitation to protect someone you barely knew. That shows more strength than most adults ever show." Lily felt a warmth in her chest. No one had ever praised her like this before. She had always been careful and quiet, thinking her small actions did not matter. Yet here was Adrian acknowledging her courage and wisdom. She realized that even a young girl could make a difference. Adrian asked her about her dreams and hopes for the future. Lily hesitated, then spoke about wanting to learn more, to help others, and to make a positive difference in the world. Adrian listened, impressed by her honesty and ambition. "You have great potential, Lily," he said. "I want to support you. Courage and intelligence like yours should never go unnoticed." Lily smiled faintly, feeling a new confidence rising inside her. She had acted bravely once, and now she saw that her actions mattered. Adrian's words gave her hope that she could achieve more and make a difference in ways she had never imagined. As they talked, Adrian and Lily began to form a bond. It was built on respect, trust, and shared understanding. Adrian admired her bravery and honesty, and Lily felt valued and recognized for the first time. Their conversation flowed naturally, filled with small laughter and thoughtful moments. Adrian saw that courage could come in many forms, and Lily saw that her actions mattered more than she had ever realized. Later, as the sun began to set, Adrian stood and looked at Lily. "Thank you. Lily, you have shown me the power of small actions. You have made a lasting difference, and I hope to continue guiding and supporting you as you grow." Lily nodded, feeling a sense of pride and purpose. She realized that this meeting was more than just a conversation. It was the beginning of a new chapter where courage, trust, and guidance could create something meaningful. As Adrian walked away, Lily remained seated for a moment, looking at the fountain and the flowers around her. She understood now that even a quiet, small voice could have a powerful impact. She had saved a life once, and she knew that her actions, guided by honesty and courage, could continue to matter in the future. From that day, a strong bond began to grow between Adrian and Lily. It was built on respect, trust, and shared understanding. Their connection would shape their lives in ways neither could fully predict. A reminder that sometimes the smallest acts of courage created the greatest change. Weeks passed since the day Adrian Blake had been warned by Lily, the maid's daughter. The memory of her note, simple yet powerful, remained fresh in his mind. He thought often about the courage and wisdom shown by someone so young. Adrian realized that her small act of bravery had changed his life, and he wanted to ensure that her courage was fully recognized. One sunny afternoon, Adrian invited Lily and her father to the mansion's garden for tea. The garden was bright and colorful, with flowers in full bloom and the soft sound of water from the fountain. Birds sang from the trees above, creating a calm and peaceful atmosphere. Lily felt nervous as she entered the garden. She had been recognized before for her actions, but this meeting felt different. Adrian had asked them to come for something special. "Lily," Adrian began warmly, "I wanted to meet you again to say thank you and to recognize your bravery. What you did was remarkable, and it deserves acknowledgement." Lily blushed and lowered her gaze. She had not expected any more recognition, and her heart beat quickly. "I just wanted to help," she said softly, unsure of what to say. Adrian smiled gently. "You did more than help. You acted with courage, intelligence, and kindness. You showed that even small actions can have great impact. I am grateful, and I want to make sure your family knows how much you are valued." Her father's eyes shone with pride. He had always known his daughter was brave, but hearing it from Adrian, a man of influence and wealth, made him even prouder. "Thank you, Mr. Blake," he said. "We are proud of Lily, and we are grateful for your kindness." Adrian turned to Lily. "I also want to help you with your future. You have great potential, and I would like to guide you and provide opportunities for learning and growth. Your courage and honesty are rare, and they should be nurtured." Lily's eyes widened. She had never imagined such a possibility. Her small act of courage had opened doors she had never thought possible. A quiet smile appeared on her face as she realized that her actions could truly make a difference, not just for that night, but for her life ahead. Over tea, Adrian, Lily, and her father talked about dreams, goals, and possibilities. Adrian encouraged Lily to explore her interests, to study, and to continue helping others. Lily listened carefully, feeling a sense of excitement and hope she had never known before. The recognition of her bravery gave her confidence and motivation to do more with her life. As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, Adrian stood and addressed Lily one last time. "You have already saved a life and shown great courage. I believe you will continue to make a positive impact on the world. Remember that your actions matter, and your voice is powerful." Lily felt a warmth in her heart. She realized that her small act of slipping a note had grown into something much larger. It had not only saved Adrian, but it also changed her own life. She felt proud, confident, and inspired to continue being brave and thoughtful in everything she did. Her father looked at her with love and pride. He understood that this day was not just about recognition, it was about a new beginning. Lily had learned that courage, honesty, and intelligence could create opportunities and change lives. She had proven that even someone young and seemingly small could have a powerful impact. Adrian watched them, satisfied and thoughtful. The note she had slipped had saved him, but it had also revealed a remarkable young girl whose potential was now clear. He realized that life often held unexpected lessons, and that sometimes the smallest acts could lead to the greatest change. As Lily and her father left the garden, she glanced back at Adrian with a quiet smile. She knew her life had changed forever. Her courage had been recognized, her potential seen, and her future brightened. She understood now that bravery, no matter how small it seemed, could create ripples that reached far beyond what anyone could imagine. That evening, Adrian returned to his office, reflecting on the events of the past weeks. A simple note had saved his life, and a young girl had shown him the power of courage and intelligence. He knew he would never forget Lily and the lesson she had taught him. Sometimes heroes come in unexpected forms, and even the smallest voices can have the greatest impact. From that day on, Adrian and Lily remained connected, their bond a symbol of trust, respect, and shared understanding. A life had been saved, a young girl's courage had been recognized, and the world had quietly changed for the better.